Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is a beautiful, cool fall day here in East Texas and I am loving it. I want to do a story time today that is actually a spin-off to the story time from last week, because until I told that story and Dan watched the video back, he remembered this story and he said, well, that reminds me of, and then he tells it. I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten all about that. And I thought, I'm so going to tell it. And I've asked my kids, I've checked with them, they don't mind that I tell these stories. And I like to tell these stories, and I don't want to be morbid, but I want to tell these stories for my kids in case, God forbid something ever happened to me. They would still have these stories and they would have me telling these stories. And I also like sharing them because I know as a parent, most of us had situations like this that we went through, and it's kind of fun to remember them and to know how other parents may have handled them and stuff like that. So that's why I share them. Now, I know you may think also that I only tell stories on Kamren. Well, that's not really true. I mean, it is true. I only really tell stories on Kamren, but that's because she was the only one that did this kind of stuff. Of my three, she was the only one that really did these types of things. She was my strong-willed child, and she gave me a run for my money every single day of my life, but I wouldn't change it for anything. She, I ever only saw myself as being a mom. I never wanted a career or anything like that. I only wanted to be a mom. So I really, really, really loved being a mom. But that's not to say she didn't make me want to pull mine and her hair out every day. But now, guys, look at this face. Would you look at this face? She was absolutely stinking adorable. So this is about Kamren once again. She was, I'm not exactly sure. I can't really relate this in time to know exactly how old she was, but I'm thinking she was around 2-ish. She wasn't able. Now, Kamren spoke really, really early. So, but and what I'm remembering is that she wasn't really able to communicate to us what was going on. So, looking back, I can remember that throughout the day, she had been going like that a lot. I didn't pay attention to it at the time because it wasn't enough to get my interest. It wasn't something that I remember going, oh, until it all kind of started playing out. So as the day wore on, I noticed she's doing that a little bit more and a little bit more. And I had asked her, do you need to blow your nose? No. So as the day wears on, she starts doing the little, more and more. And I would say, what's wrong? And she would say, booga. So I would get toilet tissue. Yes, we used toilet tissue. We didn't have Kleenex, but still works. So I would get toilet tissue and I would help her blow her nose. We never got anything out of her nose. I knew she wasn't sick, so I wasn't concerned about it. The day goes on, and like I said several times, she comes to me. She didn't come to me. I just remember her doing the sniffing thing. So when her dad gets in that afternoon, I said, Kamren has been, kind of sniffling all day long, and I've tried to help her blow her nose, but I can't seem to fix whatever's wrong with her. See if you can help her blow her nose. So he does, and nothing, and anyway, so the evening wears on, and we start noticing that, she is sniffling or snuffing or whatever you want to call that more. And so her daddy said, Kamren, what's wrong with your nose? And she said, booga. So Dan holds her. Now, keep in mind, she's our strong-willed child, and you do not hold this kid down. So to get her held down to look in her nose, it's a fight. So Dan's got him on his lap, and he's holding her. And I looked in her nose. I didn't see anything. And so we let her up. She goes on playing, and we still notice she's still doing the snubbing thing. So we get her once again. Mind you, it's a fight. Dan holds her down, and we get a flashlight, and we're trying to look in there. Now, mind you, we're trying to hold her down and point the flashlight up her nose while she's kicking and slapping and screaming and hollering. So we managed to finally get her held back to where we can look up her nose. And I was like, oh, I see something in there, but I don't know what it is. And we were like, what do we do? I mean, gosh, you know, for one, we lived 50 miles from the nearest town, so it wasn't like you could just run down to the doctor and have them do something about it. So I thought, gosh, let me get the tweezers and just see if I can, you know, get it. Because, I mean, it's pretty in there. But it was still close enough I could see it. So we get her laid down, fighting and screaming. And I'm, you know, trying to go in there with my, you know, tweezers and get a hold of it. And I'm not wanting, you know, like you're trying not to hurt her, you know, but finally, I catch a hold of it. And when I managed to not catch it with the tweezers, I can feel it's hard. And I was like, oh my God, it's hard. And like, oh, you know, she's screaming. Well, when I finally managed to get a grip on, because, you know, she's kicking and, you know, it's this like here. So when I finally managed to catch a hold of it with the tweezers, you know, I just barely pull on it because God forbid it be her brain and I'm pulling it out through this hole, through her nose hole. She screams bloody murder. And I was like, oh my God, maybe it is something we shouldn't be pulling out of there. But I was like, when we look at the other side of the nose, and we get Nicole to come and let us look at her nose, and like, you know, is this any, you know, we don't know what we're doing, you know. As parents, you just learn as you go. So I'm like, just hold her down as tight as you can hold her. I'm going to try to get whatever that is out. So I catch a hold of it, and I come out with it. Well, as it comes out the tip of her nose, I can see that it's red, y'all. I instantly, my knees go weak. I feel like I'm going to pass out or throw up or something. And I let go. And I was like, oh my God, it's red. And Dan was like, why did you let go? I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be pulling her brain out through her nose hole. He said, just get a hold of it. Either hold her or get a hold. I'm going to do it. So he holds her one more time. I catch a hold of it and pull it out. Guys, do you know what she had up her nose? I am a fake finger nut. Always have been and probably always will be. She had found one of these red fingernails like this, and she had folded it half in two and shoved it up her nose. That's what she had up her nose. Y'all, that was one of the stressful times. You know, like I said, she's caused us many of these times. We're sweating, shaking, because you're like, oh my God, am I pulling my kid's brain out through her nose hole? Oh my gosh, y'all. We had to perform surgery and pull a fake fingernail out of my child's sinuses because she had it really poked up in there. She gave us a run for our money, guys. But like I said, I wouldn't change it because she's got that same drive today that she did back then, that determination, that spirit, and it has made her a hugely successful young woman. And I couldn't be more proud of her. So that's my story time for today, guys. If y'all have any stories like this, please share them down in the comments with me. I would love to hear. A girl I grew up with, her mom had been shelling purple hull peas, if y'all know what that is, and they didn't know it, but she had shoved some of those peas up her nose. Well, a few days later, they got to noticing that she stunk really bad. I think that's the story. I may have it wrong, but I think that's the way it went. She smelled bad, and so they took her to the doctor, and sure enough, he dug rotten peas out of her nose. So I know more kids did this, and I would love to hear the stories. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.